Hey everyone, TJ Hernandez here, and I'm the founder of RosterCoach.com, a classroom-style video-based website that's designed to help you improve your daily fantasy sports game. To give you an idea of what RosterCoach has to offer, here's a preview of our most recent lesson on general cash game strategy in MLB DFS. If you enjoy what you see, please like and share this video, and don't forget to leave a comment below.
Hey guys, Tom Bluco here for Roster Coach. Going to dive into this MLB DFS pool of fun with the NBA season finally coming to a close here, moving on to the conference finals shortly, NHL season doing the same. You're really kind of forced to play MLB DFS alongside PGA if you want to keep doing DraftKings and FanDuel throughout this summer season. So we figure we'd dive into MLB and give you guys some advice on how to go about playing MLB DFS. I'll be focusing mostly on the DraftKings side of things. That's kind of where I play most. But most of these points still apply to FanDuel. The points, the scoring may change a little bit from site to site. But for the most part, these two sites are similar enough where you're going to find advice carries over pretty similarly from one site to the other. So today I'm going to talk about MLB cash games in DFS. And I want to talk mostly about how you construct a roster, why you would put certain players into a roster, and how cash games kind of differ from tournament games. If you're someone who's been playing MLB DFS for the first month and a half of the season so far, you can probably skip this video because you've probably found out, based on experience alone, what works and what doesn't in these cash games versus tournament games. But if you're someone who's just jumping in, who maybe was kind of dragging their feet because of the end of NBA season, the end of NHL season, you're just jumping in now, might be something good for you to kind of run over the different types of players for cash games and tournaments. So for cash games, let's start out with pitchers. The biggest thing you need to know for pitchers is that strikeouts equal floor. If you can get a guy who's going to throw 8, 9, 10 strikeouts, that's going to mean more than a guy who can go 7 innings with 2 strikeouts and get you a win. Those strikeouts really can pile up and really make a pitcher worth using in cash games, give you a safe floor. Even if he lets up a couple of runs, he's still giving you a good outing. And I'll show you an example of that just based on the scoring here in a second. All right, so see down here in the DraftKings scoring page, we have pitchers who throw an inning get 2.25 points for every inning they throw, and that is decimal scoring, so a third of an inning will get you 0.75 points. You'll also see here that strikeouts are 2 points, which is really awesome because that's almost an inning worth of production for every strikeout you get. Win is 4, which is equated to 2 strikeouts, and every earned run you allowed pretty much takes a strikeout away. Obviously, hits against and hits batsmen and bases on balls take away fractions of points too, but the main focus we want to talk about here are the earned runs, the wins, the strikeouts, and these innings pitched. So if you can get a guy who can throw 4 or 5 innings, sure, that's nice, but if he doesn't get those strikeouts to go along with it, you're only looking at, about 10 points. Whereas you can get a guy who gets 6 strikeouts in 4 or 5 innings, now you're looking up at 20 points, maybe even more if he's not letting up any runs or hits or walks. So these strikeouts are really what come into play here big time. You can get guys who can go 7, 8 innings, but they only get 2 or 3 strikeouts. They're going to get outpitched by guys who throw maybe 4, 5 1/3 innings, but get you 8, 9 strikeouts. Those guys like Rich Hill, who may not go deep into games, but will take counts that are really long and drawn out and end up striking out batters. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. Just experimenting with how much you want to pay for guys for their strikeouts. It's really a kind of a fine line between some players. Ivan Nova's had some really, really good games this year. Doesn't strike out that many guys. If you can get a guy who can go 8, 9 innings and get you 4 or 5 strikeouts and the win, that's obviously really valuable, but you can't count on that from every pitcher. So if you can find the guys who are going to get you strikeouts, those are really guys who provide the floor for you there. So to go along with that point, I kind of talked about it a little bit already. Innings and wins are just kind of bonus points. If you can get those strikeouts as a floor, if the guy can go 7, 8 innings, that's awesome. That's a nice bonus. Wins, same thing. But if those strikeouts are there, 8, 9, 10 strikeouts, that's really what you provide your floor with your pitcher. If you're paying up for a pitcher like a guy like Chris Sale, a guy like Clayton Kershaw, a guy like Max Scherzer, you better be guaranteeing you're getting the most Ks in the night. If someone like Robbie Ray strikes out 12 and you paid up for Max Scherzer, who only struck out 7, you're going to be in trouble because those guys are now paying up for studs at hitter positions, and they just got more strikeouts from a guy who they paid maybe $4,000 less for pitcher. So you really got to kind of break it down and say, okay, if I'm going to pay up for this guy like Chris Sale, is he really going to strike out 2 or 3 more guys than everybody else in the field? If that's the case, then odds are you should be picking this player, because that's really going to give you an advantage over the hitters. And if you can bank and hit on a few of those lower priced hitters, now all of a sudden you're way ahead of the field because you've hit on that smaller hitter and you have the safe floor of a strikeout pitcher in Chris Sale. Before we move on to hitters, let me show you how this kind of looks in action. Looking at the pitcher pool today on this early slate, not much to look at. There's actually some pretty good names here for pitchers, but really small slate in terms of the amount of games. Chris Sale is on the slate, and he faces Tampa Bay, who actually strikes out a lot against lefties. This lock play right here, 13.1 is really expensive. This is a guy who can easily go 7 innings, can even give you 8 and a complete game at times. And you know he's a guarantee for like 8, 9 strikeouts, and 10 or 12 is definitely in the realm of possibility.